afternoon. I'm Paula, and on behalf of Siouxland Libraries, I'd like to thank you for joining our third annual Spooky Story Writing Contest. After the program, we do have a brief survey for you to fill out, and we would love to have you give a big applause to all of our contestants today. Here you go. We're going to get started with the 8 and under group. And I believe we have our first contestant is, let's see, what do we got? Those? Thank you. Our first contestant is The Mysterious Monster by Andrew Miller. Come on up, Andrew. Come on up. All right. Here we go, Andrew. Okay. Tell you what, Andrew, do you want me to hold this for you? Okay. Okay, and you'll want to get right over there in front of the speaker, okay? Here you go.
In the murky shadow stood me. I was on a case for the mysterious monster. He had robbed 2 banks, and at the 3rd bank, I saw him in the act. He was tall. He had sharp nails and sharp teeth. He had red eyes and black fur. When he saw me, he ran out and into the woods, and I followed him as fast as I could. When I got to his house, I saw he was making a creature out of money. The creature got up and he saw me, and I ran as fast as I could, and never to return and never to go to the woods again.
All right. Good job. All right. That is great. Thank you, Andrew. That was wonderful. Our next contestant is Bianca. Oh, let's see here. It's Bianca Rosenthal, and she wrote The Stone Witch. Here she is.
In the murky shadows stood the most despicable, nastiest, ugliest witch that ever lived. If Zelina sees you, she might curse you just so she can get what she wants. She would even steal your favorite toy to sell it for ingredients for her Halloween curse. Don't think you can hide because she sees everything, even before it happens. For example, she would know that you were going to be at the library an hour before you even got there. She would have enough time to steal your stuffed bear and have a curse waiting for you to walk through. Zelina is the worst witch of them all. One day she was making dinner for her cat and herself when suddenly she added a wrong ingredient and accidentally turned it into a potion. Oh my! I could capture 3 children with this potion and cook 1 for dinner, 1 for dessert, and I could curse the last one. What a delight! She said wickedly. Zelina saw that the next day 3 kids would come walking by her cottage, so she used her magic to make it look like a museum. She thought to herself, I've plenty of time to fix up the place before the children get here. Then they will walk around the museum to trick or treat. But when they try to leave, I will poof back and capture them. But when the kids arrived, they had Esmeralda the Good Fairy with them. Esmeralda said, I sense a dangerous curse, so she used her magic to break it. When Zelina poofed back into the cottage and saw the Good Fairy, she said, I should have known Esmeralda would be here. Before Zelina could trap the kids, the Good Fairy used her magic wand to turn her into stone. The kids cheered, and Esmeralda waved her wand to fill the museum with candy. To this day, Zelina the Witch still lives as a statue in the Halloween Museum, and every year kids go trick-or-treating there.
I wanted to point out this year we actually had the most applicants that we've had so far. Every year it seems to be growing and growing. With our 5 to 8 year olds, we had 17 kids that actually wrote stories this year. So it was so wonderful to have that many here. And I also want to take this opportunity to let you know that our contestants for first place for the 5 to 8 year olds and the 9 to 11 year olds, we'll announce them at the end. There's not very many opportunities to actually be able to use your imagination, and this is such a great contest for it. So we really enjoy having you write the stories and see all the creative little light bulbs going off at Siouxland Library. So we have some budding authors and maybe some horror writers too. So we'll see how it works out in the future. So we could say, hey, you got your start right here at the Spooky Stories Writing Contest. So we only had 2 that actually showed up, but we did have 17 kids that wrote stories today. So for the Spooky Stories for the 5 to 8 year olds. So it was great to have that many come. And with our 9 to 11 year olds, our next one will be, our first person is The Mysterious House. This is by Emily Outland. So Emily, come on up.
In the murky shadows stood a house. This was an ordinary house, at least in the daylight. In daylight, it was a 3-story pearl-white house with green shutters and colorful flowers of purple, orange, and red. When the sun sank beneath the trees, the white paint would turn black, the flowers would wilt, and there were strange voices in the house. Stories were told that inside the house there were zombies, black widow spiders, and the most feared of them all, the Enderman, their leader. Other stories were told that there was a man who went into the house. He came out screaming. From then on, no one was allowed near the house until it was burned down. When police officers went into the house to check for other people, they never came back out. The house still stands today, waiting for people to come in.
Good job. And I also want to mention, we do have our first place persons already picked, but you do have a chance to win our best performance today. And if you are the person that wins the best performance, we actually have an applause-o-meter it's an app that you can use to see who has the best applause. So that's how we're judging that one. So if you like that story, really clap loud. Our next person is Lorelei. Is it Lorelei? Hubbling, and it's the old man. Come on up, Lorelei.
In the murky shadows stood an old man. He looked about 60. He peered around the corner. "Well, I'm back to work," he said cheerfully. I wouldn't think being a gravedigger would be fun, but he was happy. "Hi, Greta," he said. Greta was a ghost. She was blonde with dark circles under her eyes. She wears a beautiful woman's nightdress. She stares at him, like always. When he returns the next day, he says the same thing. But today, Greta seemed more cranky than usual. She pointed at him. Millions of ghosts appeared. She screamed. They started to attack him. "Ah! Stop! Help! Help me!" he screamed. "You live. You've taunted me. Never again will that happen," she cackled. 20 years later, he had come back because this was the only job he could afford. He was hoping Greta had forgotten, but Greta never forgets. When he slowly arrived, Greta looked 100 times angrier. Her eyes were dark and her dress was very torn. "I'm sorry, Greta. Please, don't punish me," he cried. "Don't worry," she said, awfully cheerful. You'll love the big present I got you as a welcome gift." "No, no!" the old man screamed. Greta shoved him into the last grave he made. "Bye-bye," she said as she buried him.
Ooh. That was kind of scary. Our next contestant is Kara Olsen with the dolls.
The dolls. In the murky shadows stood me. I was up late at night getting a snack. I always have trouble sleeping. After I had some Cheez-Its, I walked downstairs to my room and saw all my dolls. Big dolls, small dolls, brown-haired dolls, blonde-haired dolls, boy dolls, and girl dolls. My father gave all of them to me. One for my birthday, one for Christmas, and a little one for Easter. He worked at a doll factory, so what do you expect? Soon after I got my 30th doll, I know, right? My dad passed away in a car accident. I still get the occasional doll from my dad's old co-workers, but I still feel upset about the whole thing. Anyway, I crawled into bed and fell fast asleep. At 12 o'clock, I woke up again. All my dolls were alive. They had glowing red eyes. I turned the other way and saw my first doll towering over me. She was wearing a long black cloak and was 4 feet tall. Paint was scratched all over her and part of her eye was missing. She was the creepiest thing ever. I ran to my parents' room, but in replacement of my mom and my stepdad, there were dolls. Same with my baby brother. I ran to my room and tripped. My doll looked me straight in the eye, and then I woke up. I looked around and saw a doll. She was missing part of an eye. She was wearing a long black cloak, and she had scratches all over her and was 4 feet tall. She was towering over me. The end.
Thank you, Kara. Our next contestant is Leila Miller, and it's Never Disturb Bones.
Never disturb Bones. In the murky shadows stood Bones. Doll bones, to be exact. Tiny plastic doll bones. In the blazing sun, the bones stood still. But in the gloomy, dim moon, the bones came alive. And when I mean alive, I mean doll forms. Nobody knew how they magically appeared, but they did. The murky shadows always stood in Hollister Woods. Hollister Woods was always desolate, except for the bones and one little girl. She played in Hollister Woods this morning, and for some reason she never saw the bones, but accidentally took one. Tonight, as she was tucked in, the bones really came alive. She heard, I'm here, taunting her ears. The door slammed shut. The window shattered closed. A tiny figure strolled across the room. The figure had, with two glowing red eyes staring at her. The figure had only one arm. Beware, beware, she hissed. You took my bone. You have plenty of others. The girl stammered, I don't care, and the figure exploded, literally. The girl opened her bedroom door, and in the long, narrow hall, she slammed the door shut and was breathing so hard she thought she would explode herself. The girl grabbed her pink jingly bunny and leaped out the window. Her feet took her as fast as she could. Thorns stabbed her leg, brambles caught in her hair, a branch tripped her. After she got up, she still didn't stop running and running until she was in the place the bones were. As you probably guessed, the bones weren't there, except instead a tiny hand with 4 fingers. Out of nowhere, the hand gripped her ankle and pulled her in the ground. The girl shrieked and shrieked until she was buried. The next day, the parents called the best police because they were terrified. Nothing was left of the dolls, so the parents had no idea. Even the police couldn't find the missing girl. After that, nobody saw her again.
Thank you, Leila. Our next contestant is Ethan Tucker, and it's the skeleton. I love all the costumes. They're great.
In the murky shadows stood deep in the woods was Charlie. He was looking for his football he lost earlier that day in the woods. Charlie kept looking, but he couldn't find his football. Then he saw a round object on the floor. He picked it up and found a skull instead. He started digging and found his skeleton. Charlie was freaked out and ran home. The next day at school, the teacher announced there would be a Halloween party in 3 days, and you had to bring a decoration to attend the party. Charlie didn't have Halloween decorations because his family was poor. Then he thought about the skeleton in the woods. He thought for a second, then he decided to go pick up the skeleton and bring it to school tomorrow. When he got to the woods, the skeleton was gone. He remembered it was right here. Then he heard a stick crack and he knew he was being watched. Once he turned around, there was the skeleton about to fall on him. When he picked up an empty garbage bag and caught the skeleton, when he got home, he told his mom the whole story. She said it was a good idea to use the skeleton at the party. The next day at school, he brought the skeleton with him to the classroom. When he got inside the school, he saw a giant zombie in front of him, but he was relieved it was just a decoration. Charlie put down on his decoration and went outside for recess, but what he didn't know, the skeleton was following him. When he got back from recess, the skeleton was gone and the teacher was gone, so he couldn't tell the teacher, so people were messing around, and someone opened the window. Charlie went to his locker to get his sweatshirt when the skeleton fell on him. Charlie wondered how the skeleton got in his locker. Charlie put it in his classroom and sat down for directions. And the next day was the Halloween party, and after a long time and boring day of school, it was finally party time. There was music, there was candy, and more candy. But what Charlie didn't know is the skeleton started dancing. Everyone thought it was a robot until it started wrecking the room. And Charlie ran for the skeleton, but the skeleton grabbed Charlie and ran out of the room. That didn't stop Charlie, so he grabbed the skeleton and ran toward the woods. But Charlie was never seen again. People said the skeleton killed Charlie, and others said he went to a different state. How do I know this? Because I was there.
We have one more contestant, and it is Rebecca, is it Teason? And she has the lucky cat. Now, Rebecca, have you been here have you been here for all of them? You were here last year.
I was here last year.
Last year, yes. That's great. Come on up. Yep, thank you.
The unlucky, lucky cat. In the murky shadows stood a blackened alley belonging to cats. A pretty she-cat called, "Night!" Coming Maple Night, a black Tom shifted, prodding his brother. "Come on, Gadget. 5 more." Gadget drifted back to sleep. "Come on!" "Okay, I'm up," Gadget said, eyes foggy with sleep. "Time to find a home." "Why don't we just stay alley cats?" "Because, what if you don't have enough food, huh?" "Ugh, okay. We have to find Pillow, Tails, and Gamer." They headed out. Halfway there, they heard a growl and turned. "Patch!" the cats said in unison. "Yes, that's me." His high, brittle voice made Night shudder. Patch was a small Burmese, a runt, but he was very dangerous. Night stepped forward. "We're just passing through, Patch. We're no threat." "Then I suggest you skedaddle or you'll be sorry you ever came." Night knew Patch meant it. "Let's go." He shot a glare at the Burmese who was staring triumphant at them. When the 3 cats reached the train platform, Gamer and Pillow were already there. "Hi, any humans interested in us yet?" "Nope," came the solemn reply. "Okay," Night replied back. Then a shape rushed towards them. A cat stumbled into Maple. "Tails!" Maple snarled at the fluffy tabby. "Sorry," he mumbled, then looked into Night's eyes, flicking his tail to get Night's attention. "Come over here, you great almighty evil cat." What? Patch had called him that, but not Tails. "Are you mad?" Tails taunted. "Yes." Night tried to stay calm. Tails continued. "You are just unlucky in trying to steal my mate." "No!" Night lunged, throwing Tails backward with surprise. Tails found his ground and matched Night blow for blow, swipe for swipe, and claw for claw. "Mom, look, cats," said a girl about 13. "Could I pick one out? They look like strays who need homes." Tails and Night stopped fighting, cleaned their wounds, and purred as she walked up. "Hi there, girl," Astrid said, picking Night up, cradling him close. "I'll call you Ash. Mom, can I please have him?" "Okay, Astrid, but I have to go to a meeting tonight." "Okay. You got the train number, right?" "Yes, Mom, I'm fine." They said goodbye. It was beginning to get dark, so Astrid settled to watch a movie. A robber came and smashed a window. "Eek!" Astrid jumped to grab the phone, but the robber stopped her and tied her up. "Stay there," he said with a gruff voice. Night immediately attacked. "You don't mess with my owner!" In shrieks of horror, the robber fled the scene. Astrid cut the ropes with a pocket knife she carried and called the police. When her mother got the call about the break-in, she came and praised Night. "You are such a good cat, so I brought your friends." Maple and the rest of the crew jumped out of her car. "Night, you are the luckiest cat I know." "Yes." Gamer, Gadget, and even Tails mewed in agreement. Night then said to himself, "I am lucky."
All right, so are we ready to announce the first place winner? So you want to hear? Is everybody on pins and needles? I think so. For our first place, 8 and under, for the 5 to 8-year-olds, it was the Stone Witch, Bianca Rosenthal. Come on up, Bianca. We have a book from Barnes & Noble for you and a big candy bar. Thank you.
Extra large.
Yes, it's extra large. And for our 9 to 11-year-olds, our first place winner is Emily Outland. She wrote The Mysterious house. Here she is. Good job, Emily. And we have a book for you and a big candy bar. You're welcome. Thank you. Now do we have a clear winner? Let's see here. We do have a clear winner for our, it is Bianca, actually, won the best performance. She had a sound decibel of 80 out of 90. You won again. Good job. Yes, you got them both. Oh my goodness. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming today. This was such a treat. It was so great to have you come and perform your stories. And next year, I hope we get even bigger and better. We're going to welcome you back next year. We are going to keep doing our spooky stories writing contest. And thank you very much for coming.